rapture starts. Now, the world quietly split in two, and almost nobody noticed. While people moved through their daily routines, as the clocks ticked and the seasons turned, a divide opened in silence, reshaping everything without a single announcement. The autumn equinox arrived, cloaked as always in its image of balance, light and dark, standing equal for a fleeting moment. Yet this time, that balance was only a mask, a surface illusion. Beneath it, something far more mysterious stirred, a current so vast and so unstoppable that only those with awakened eyes could sense its weight. The equinox has always been a cosmic hinge, a rare point in the wheel of the year where day and night pause in symmetry. For ages, mystics have honored it as a threshold, a doorway where the energies of heaven and earth meet in fragile perfection. But this year, perfection was disrupted. Instead of holding still, the scales tipped, and in their tilting, they set into motion a transformation that none can outrun. This is no ordinary equinox. It is the ignition of a rapture, but do not be mistaken. The rapture is not about bodies vanishing or skies tearing open with trumpet blasts. It is subtler, more intimate, more penetrating. It is the splitting of self, the moment where one version of you is left behind while another, brighter, more alive, more awakened version steps forward. This is a crossing over, a moment of decision that most will never recognize, yet will feel in every corner of their existence. The chosen ones, those who have carried weight in silence, will find their very presence reshaping rooms, conversations, and even destinies. The rapture is here, and whether you realize it or not, the current has already begun to pull you toward it. The equinox shift. The autumn equinox has always been a point of mystery, whispered about by seers and sages, honored by ancient traditions, and quietly ignored by those who see only with physical eyes. On paper, it looks simple. A day when light and darkness share equal time, a balance written across the sky. But balance is never still. It is movement. It is decision. It is the pause before a turning. And this year, the pause became a rupture. In the silence of this equinox, reality itself trembled. The balance did not remain steady. It shifted. And in that shift came a demand. Which part of you will move forward? And which part will remain behind? This is not philosophy, not theory. It is visceral. You feel it in your skin, in the tightening of your chest, in the moments when time seems to stutter, and your soul whispers that something unseen has already changed. It is the sensation that your life no longer fits into the same outlines it wore yesterday. The equinox has tilted the scales, and you are being asked to decide what version of yourself survives the crossing. This shift is not just personal, it is planetary. The equinox acts as a cosmic tuning fork, sending ripple through the unseen architecture of the world. People who once seemed solid in their indifference suddenly falter. Faces that overlooked you now turn with unexplainable attention. You might notice the smallest signs. A conversation lingering where it would once have ended. A word you spoke years ago returning now as wisdom on another's lips. An energy in the air that makes ordinary spaces feel charged with invisible electricity. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that the field around you has changed. The equinox is no longer just an event. It has become a threshold. Those who sense it feel pulled between two realities. The old one, fading and brittle, and the new one, alive with possibilities yet unformed. The crossing is not comfortable. It is not gentle. It is raw, insistent, undeniable. And as you step into this moment, know this truth. The world you wake up to tomorrow will not be the same as the one you left today. Chosen ones, rising. The world you woke up to today is no longer the same as yesterday. The shift has already taken root, and with it comes a great unveiling. For years, perhaps for lifetimes, those who carried the deeper truths, those who bore light quietly in a world that mocked or dismissed them, have walked unseen. They endured ridicule, indifference, even scorn. Yet this equinox has rewritten the rules of presence itself. The silence around the chosen ones is breaking, and the weight of their being is becoming undeniable. It begins subtly, almost eerily. Someone who once waved away your words now remembers them with sudden clarity, repeating them as if they had just discovered wisdom. A person who avoided your presence suddenly feels drawn to it, unable to explain why. Rooms shift when you enter, not because you force it, but because reality has bent toward you. The equinox didn't just balance light and dark, it recalibrated authority. Those who lived in truth quietly now find the world turning its head in recognition. The invisible has become unmissable. This isn't about becoming louder, demanding recognition, or proving your worth. The chosen ones are not rising because they begged for attention. They are rising because the veil that muffled them has finally been torn. What once felt like exile is now revealed as preparation. The weight you carried in silence forged you into something unshakable, and now that strength hums through every word you speak, every step you take. And make no mistake, this new visibility will be uncomfortable for many. Those who mocked you will wrestle with their unease as they realize the authority they once ignored has become the very current they cannot escape. They will feel the pull of your presence, the gravity of your alignment, whether they admit it or not. For the chosen, this is not arrogance. It is destiny unfolding. Oh, the equinox has tilted the world toward you, and the age of being overlooked is ending. The rise has begun. Oh, the second awakening. The rise of the chosen ones is not just recognition. It is initiation into something deeper, something more uncompromising. For what good is visibility if it only echoes the old life? The equinox did not unveil you simply to let you bask in attention. It awakened you to demand change, to strip away what no longer belongs, and to force you into the clarity your soul has long prepared for. This is the second awakening, and it will not let you rest in comfort. The first awakening was a whisper. It cracked open the surface, stirred your curiosity, gave you glimpses of truth and moments of wonder that made you hunger for more. But this second wave is ruthless. It does not tease with half-truths or gentle nudges. It shakes the foundation beneath your feet. It removes the false securities, the masks, the fragile crutches you once leaned on, until you realize there is no way back. This time, it does not ask. It demands. You may already feel it. The jobs that once seemed stable now feel suffocating. The relationships maintained out of habit no longer fit the shape of who you are becoming. The compromises you once tolerated now burn like fire in your chest. It is not drama, it is design. The field around you is accelerating, pushing you toward sharper choices, intolerant of delay. Where once you could linger in the gray, now the gray collapses into either truth or falsehood, alignment or dissonance. And with this sharpening comes a strange gift. Synchronicities no longer appear as soft poetry, but as precise strikes. Doors that were bolted suddenly swing open, while paths you forced for years now close without mercy. People, opportunities, even chance meetings align with surgical timing, as if unseen hands are orchestrating the details of your becoming. This is the architecture of the second awakening. It is not here to comfort you. It is here to rebuild you. The question is not whether you are ready. The question is whether you will surrender to the redesign already unfolding within your soul. The tension between two worlds. The second awakening tears away illusions, but in its wake comes an even sharper reality. You cannot belong fully to both the old world and the new. The redesign unfolding within you creates a split, and the more you resist, the more unbearable that split becomes. This is the tension of being caught between two worlds, the dying structures of the past and the unformed brilliance of what is coming. To stand in both at once is to feel torn, stretched, almost shattered. Yet this tearing is the proof that transformation has begun. For some, this tension reveals itself emotionally. Sudden waves of grief rise without explanation, followed by bursts of irritability. Then moments of emptiness so vast, it feels as though the ground itself has been pulled away. For others, it manifests physically. The body grows heavy with exhaustion that sleep cannot cure. Or conversely, it sparks with a restless energy that refuses to let you rest. Your body becomes the battleground of timelines, as one version of you resists while the other surges forward. And yet, the pressure is not here to punish you. It is here to expose what can no longer survive. The unease, the confusion, the dissonance you feel. They are not malfunctions. They are invitations. They signal the death of what has expired and the birth of what demands to rise. Resistance makes the process agonizing, like trying to breathe in two different atmospheres at once. But surrender, true surrender, dissolves the weight. What feels like loss in resistance becomes relief in release. The equinox rapture is not gentle. It presses every soul toward a choice. Cling to the brittle familiarity of yesterday, or step into the trembling vastness of tomorrow. And though that leap may feel terrifying, know this: the discomfort is not breaking you. It is breaking what no longer belongs to you. The tension between worlds is not your end. It is the crucible of your rebirth, the reward of endurance. Out of the crucible of tension comes a revelation. Endurance was never wasted. Every burden carried in silence, every moment when you chose integrity over convenience, every tear shed when no one noticed, none of it has been forgotten. The equinox rapture does not merely strip away the old, it rebalances the scales of unseen justice. It is the return of a long-awaited debt, the moment when endurance transforms into empowerment, and hidden scars become sacred credentials. For years, perhaps for lifetimes, you walked carrying invisible weight. You gave more than you received, poured strength into others when no one replenished your own, and held the line even when the world seemed blind to your struggle. It often felt as though your sacrifices dissolved into nothingness, as if the universe overlooked your faithfulness. But today, the veil has lifted, and with it, a release surges forward. What once seemed like silence from the cosmos is revealed as accumulation, interest building in a vault beyond your sight. Now the vault has opened. The equinox release is not abstract. It manifests. Opportunities appear where doors once stayed locked. Conversations turn in your favor when they once fell flat. Small signs ripple through your days. A sudden invitation, a shift in recognition, a long stagnant situation finally breaking free. These subtle beginnings carry within them the promise of greater currents. For as the chosen ones rise, their quiet endurance becomes the very power that shapes their destiny. This is not revenge, nor is it scorekeeping. The equinox does not punish others on your behalf. It magnifies you, it amplifies your presence, and it ensures that the world can no longer deny what you carry. The struggles that once weakened you have become proof that you are ready. The suffering you endured in silence has been transmuted into the very fuel of your ascension. The reward is not temporary. Once it begins, it cannot be undone. Your time of invisibility is over. Your time of recognition has begun. the cosmic doorway. Recognition is only the beginning, for as the reward of endurance unfolds, a greater truth emerges. This equinox is not simply a marker in time. It is a doorway. Twice each year, in March and September, the Earth stills upon its axis. For a brief span, day and night stand equal, the scales perfectly balanced. Most pass through it unaware. Oh, but those who are awake know that in this fleeting pause, the machinery of the cosmos opens. A door swings wide, and for those prepared to step through, entire lifetimes of change can be condensed into a single moment. The ancients called this moment sacred because it does not linger. It is like a hinge creaking open before snapping shut. Once the balance breaks, the axis tips again, and the doorway seals until the next cycle. To miss it is to wait 6 more months. And in 6 months, the world can shift so dramatically that the opportunity before you now will no longer exist in the same form. That is why the urgency burns. The equinox is not symbolic poetry. It is mechanical law. You may not see beams of light splitting the sky or hear trumpets sounding from the heavens. The crossing is subtler, whispering rather than shouting. Yet those whispers carry more force than thunder if you pause long enough to listen. They arrive as inner clarity, as sudden direction, as an unshakable knowing that rises in the stillness. It is the faint tug that tells you, step now, or remain locked in the cycle you have long prayed to escape. This doorway does not ask whether you feel ready. It opens because your persistence, your endurance, your very existence has made it so. The question is not whether the portal is real. It is whether you will dare to walk through it. This is your appointment with transformation, your invitation into alignment. Today the axis stills, the door stands open, and the universe itself waits to see who will cross the threshold and who will remain behind. The great crossing. The doorway stands open, but crossing it is not peace, it is collision. When worlds overlap, when light and shadow surge into one another, the result is not harmony at first, but disruption. This is the great crossing, a moment when the boundaries that once separated energies dissolve, and what was hidden rushes into the open. The equinox has magnified this rupture, amplifying every current until the very air feels charged, volatile, alive with unseen electricity. One moment you crave silence, the next you long for human connection. One day you feel steady and luminous, but the next restless, agitated, even explosive. These extremes are not random mood swings. They are the evidence of two realities colliding within you, demanding that you let go of the illusion of separation. Light does not destroy darkness here, nor does darkness swallow light. Instead, they weave together in chaos until you realize they were never truly apart. To stand in this storm is to be reshaped by it. The body testifies to this crossing. Sudden dizziness, bursts of energy that come without reason, strange tingles or jolts in the head and spine. These are not malfunctions. They are thresholds breaking open inside you, expansions of capacity so you can hold what you could not contain before. And while many long for awakening to be gentle, serene, and glowing, the truth is far more raw. There is nothing serene about tectonic plates grinding beneath your feet. There is nothing calm about rivers crashing together in flood. The rapture is that flood. It breaks down walls you did not know you built, forcing energies once trapped to finally flow. This is the purpose of the Great Crossing, not to hand you easy peace, but to initiate you. The chosen are those who endure the storm without fleeing, who stand in the tearing and allow it to unmake them so it can remake them. For on the other side of the chaos lies integration. Only by walking through the collision can you emerge whole, reborn, unshakable, and of emotional numbness. The flood of the Great Crossing does more than shatter walls. It breaks the spell of numbness that has dulled so many hearts. For months, perhaps even years, countless souls have walked under a heavy fog, shielded from both pain and joy by a kind of spiritual anesthesia. They laughed, but the laughter felt shallow. They cried, but the tears ran dry before reaching the depths of the heart. Even spiritual practices that once blazed with fire became mechanical, hollow, repetitive. It was protection, but it was also suffocation. The equinox rapture has ended that trance. Like ice struck with a hammer, the numbness fractures suddenly. Emotions rush back in, fierce and unfiltered. Some find themselves weeping without reason, sobbing as if grief long buried has finally clawed free. Others erupt in laughter, nostalgia, or anger so vast it feels foreign, larger than their own frame. Do not mistake this for collapse. It is resurrection. The blood is rushing back into a limb that was long asleep, tingling, aching, alive. Yes, it is overwhelming. Yes, it may feel chaotic. But chaos is not the enemy. It is the evidence that life is returning. Where numbness once muted your edges, the rapture restores them. You are not malfunctioning. You are thawing. The fire you thought was lost is stirring in your chest, reminding you that to feel deeply is not weakness but power. For only by feeling can you move forward. Only by embracing the full spectrum of emotion can you reclaim the wholeness that numbness once denied you. The chosen ones will understand this truth. Pain and joy are not opposites. They are allies. To feel sorrow fully is to create capacity for greater joy. To feel anger without shame is to awaken courage. The rapture is pulling the plug on anesthesia because the time for half-living is over. You were never meant to survive behind glass. You were meant to feel every spark, every crack, every surge of life. And now, the numbness is gone. In its place comes the terrifying, liberating gift of being fully alive again. The power of silence. Once the numbness shatters and emotions roar back into the body, another revelation emerges, one that is quieter, subtler, yet perhaps even more profound. It is the discovery that silence itself has changed. What once felt like empty space now carries a presence, a vibration, a living current humming with messages from the unseen. The rapture did not only restore your ability to feel, it retuned the spaces between sound, awakening silence as a sacred ally. At first, it might seem disorienting. A conversation ends, and the pause afterward feels heavier than the words themselves. You sit alone in your room, and suddenly the walls feel alive, as though listening with you. Even a walk outside shifts. The stillness between the wind and the birdsong vibrates with depth you cannot fully explain. This is not imagination. It is resonance. The equinox reprogrammed the field, and silence now acts as a tuning fork, aligning you to truth. Most have been trained to believe wisdom comes from noise, from books, teachers, endless voices online. But in this new current, the true transmissions arrive in stillness. A single breath of quiet can pierce deeper than 1,000 lectures. In silence, lies unravel. In silence, guidance comes without distortion. And in silence, the chosen find both refuge and weapon, a space that protects them from deception and recharges their essence with clarity. Yet this is not an ordinary quiet. It is not the silence poisoned by distraction, background noise, or restless scrolling. It is living stillness, whole and undiluted. Those who fear their own thoughts will find it unbearable, but those who dare to step into it will discover answers that no outside voice could ever supply. For in this silence, the universe speaks directly. It whispers directions, illuminates hidden truths, and anchors you in certainty. To embrace it is to step beyond confusion, to claim guidance that is yours alone. The rapture has crowned silence with power, and only those attuned enough to listen will hear the call. From the silence now alive with truth, one final realization rises. None of this has unfolded by accident. The rapture is not some distant cosmic drama playing out without you. It exists because you exist. Every sacrifice you made in secret, every burden you carried in shadows, every moment you refused to let go of hope, they are the sparks that crack the door of this new age open. Without you, the portal would remain sealed. This is not coincidence. It is proof of your purpose. The equinox rapture has never been about escape. It is about embodiment. You are not here as a spectator watching the world tilt. You are the very axis it tilts upon. The shift moves through you. Reality bends because your presence demands it. Every choice you make from this moment forward ripples into the great crossing, shaping not only your destiny, but the fabric of the world around you. To live awakened is no longer a private experience. It is the way the rapture spreads. Yes, the path ahead will test you. There will be moments when the pull of the old tries to drag you back, when fear whispers that surrender is too costly. But remember this: what feels like loss is not punishment. It is release. The rapture does not strip you of what you need. It frees you from what you no longer are. In return, it gives you clarity, authority, presence, and alignment with a destiny that once felt impossible to touch. So the question lingers, not from the heavens, but from your own soul. Now that the world has split, what will you do with the power placed in your hands? Will you cling to the ashes of what has burned away? Or will you step boldly into the fire that forges anew? The door is open, the silence speaks, and the rapture moves through you even now. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You were born for this threshold, born to tilt reality itself. The rapture starts now, and the way you choose to live from this moment forward will write the story of what comes next.